Hello, boys and girls. Thank you for joining Coleman Events. We're going to be painting the Captain America shield for you today. So hopefully at the end, you will walk away with your very own masterpiece. Before we begin, let me give you a few instructions. So you want to make sure that you put water in your cups. Make sure you have everything spread out in front of you so that you can easily reach your paint and your brushes, your water, and your napkin. Go ahead and put on those aprons we provided for you so that you can protect your clothing. The paint we're using today is acrylic paint and it dries very fast and very permanent. So you want to make sure you have those aprons on. Now, if you get it on your hands, it's okay. You can wash it off. Before we start painting, let's open up those paint pots. So a neat trick is to hold it in your right hand and open up the left flap. And that will open up the paint pot fairly easily for you. I'll show you one more time. You want to hold it with your right hand, open up the left flap, and that will open up the paint caps for you very carefully because you don't want to spill your paint. See? So today, the colors you have are red, white, blue, black, or green, and yellow. We want to give you a variety. So the majority of the picture is red, white, and blue. But we just wanted to make sure you had extra colors in case you wanted to do something a little different with your paint. And that's quite all right, because again, this is your masterpiece. So our artist today is Heather, Miss Heather, and she's going to take you through how to make your very own Captain America shield. You can take it away, Miss Heather.
Hi guys, thanks for coming to paint with me today. I'm going to start by getting the larger brush and I'm going to wet it a little bit so that we can have a little bit amount of water on our brush. I'm going to dab it on the paper towel just a little bit to get the excess off, and I'm going to go right into our black paint here. We're going to start with the outline. So when you're loading your brush with the paint, you want to make sure that you get a good amount of paint on there and the right amount of water so that the paint will spread easily on the canvas. So what we're going to do is start here by outlining the shield. If your paint isn't moving along the canvas smoothly, then you want to get more water on your brush. And this line right here, it doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to paint over a lot of this anyway. We're just going to get the good outline of the shield. If you start noticing that your paint is running a little thin, then you can dip your brush in the water again and reload with the black paint and just pick up right where you left off. So we're doing the outline, the outer part of the shield. It doesn't have to be all the same size. Give it a little interest if it's not. Go around again if you see any spaces that you don't like or you want to fill in with a little bit more color. And we're going to keep doing the outline of the shield that way until we get right up in the middle. Go to the next one. And it's okay if it's not a perfect circle, we can fix it later. I'll show you how to do that. Go on here. Got the next outline. Circles are hard to do, so don't be really hard on yourself. If you can't get your circle right, we're going to come back and touch it up. Do the next one. Running out. Dip it back in the paint. Keep your brush loaded so that the paint will spread fairly easy for you. And we're just going to get all of the outline of the shield on the canvas. And again, it's okay if the line doesn't exactly look like the line that we drew for you. Those are just guidelines. Just drawing circles, and the circles get smaller and smaller until we reach the inside of the shield, which is the star. Right, we got our circles on. I'm gonna kind of slow down for everybody to catch up. You have any questions, or maybe you can ask whoever's there to help you with your circles or lines if you're having any problems. We kind of look at our circles and see, yeah, they're kind of looking okay. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with the star. We have the lines there for you. Just going to outline the outline of the star. That's pretty easy just by drawing little lines. We got the lines of the star coming in. Now there's no question that there's a star in the middle of the shield. It's okay if you put little lines inside the star. We're going to paint over those lines. So don't worry. While we wait for that to dry, we're going to work on our background. So in the picture, it's just a plain black background, which you can certainly do. I'm going to maybe do a little bit of extra stuff. So I'm going to take some of the blue paint. It still has a little black on it, and that's fine. It'll give me a different color blue for the background. And very carefully, not to mess with the colors that are still drying that you just drew, I'm just going to draw some little stars. And if you can't draw stars, it's pretty simple. You can draw a triangle and then the triangle the separate way. You want to draw a star like that. You want to draw a star the way it is on the Captain America. You want to switch to your little brush. I have to dip it in water. You dip that brush in water so it's not so hard. That one is really hard if it's new, brand new. And then so we can draw a bunch of different stars. Let's see the star. Captain America is a star. So you can draw some stars. Everybody knows how to do stars like that. Just to have fun while our paint's drying. And these don't have to be perfect. Mine are not perfect. They're going to be in the background. We'll probably paint over them, but I thought we'd have fun just doodling on our canvas while it's drying. You can paint them in if you'd like. And for those of you that need a little bit of extra help drawing a star, I'll do one real slow. So we'll do a line up. And then we'll do a line coming down, almost like you're making an A. And then you'll take the bottom of this and go back up this way to the top. You know, little brush is getting dried out. I'll bring a line over across this way. And then I'm going to bring that line right down. And you see it's not perfect. We can make it perfect though with paint. Easy to make it perfect. Just paint that in. See, we got a star. Let's do some red stars while we're still waiting for that paint to dry. Acrylic paint does dry pretty fast, but it's not that fast. So let's clean our brush a little bit, dip it in the red paint. Let's make some red stars, or you could do whatever you like. I'm gonna do more stars. We're gonna do a line up, a line down, a line back up, a line over, get more paint on our brush. And a line down. And these little stars aren't perfect. It's not about being perfect. It's about having fun while you create. See my stars, one side is longer than the other. I think that's pretty cool. I like things to look different on my artwork. It's okay. And even like if you wanted to outline it in blue and then come back with the red and paint that in, you can do that. That's a cool little star there. Do another red star up here in the middle. These stars. Basically, I'm just putting some paint on a canvas where there's no paint. There's a star over here. And you can kind of take a look at the paint on your canvas and see if it's dry. It's no longer that shiny. It might be dry. Maybe you want to just do some squiggles all around your canvas just to kind of see what you can do with a paintbrush. So I'm going to dip back in my blue. I'm going to do some squiggles, just like a spiral. That's an easy one. Start in the middle, and then you just go out again. You get in the hang of using your paintbrush. And it's okay, we're going to go over everything. This allows you to loosen up a little bit, get some paint on your canvas, and have fun. I'm just going to dip right back in my red, not even wash my brush, because sometimes that's fun to have the colors come out with each other. And just draw some spirals. You could write some words in the background that you might like. Like if you did this painting and you hang it in your room and you want to look at the painting later and you can remember the words that you wrote under there, that would be cool. Now these cool stars, because Captain America is a star. You could put hearts if you like hearts. Anything you want in the background of this little painting. Put a heart up here. We love Captain America. He's pretty awesome. You're pretty awesome. You can even write the word awesome right down here. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're just doodling while our paint dries. Awesome. Some blue squigglies up here. Break up this red a little bit. I'm gonna paint right over them. We're gonna have fun. You can put fun. You can write the word fun. Maybe next time you think about fun, you'll think about painting a picture. Put circles. Everybody draw circles here. Just little things to fill in the background. You'll see why later. It's kind of fun. Do squiggles. See how there the red and the blue both came out on the brush, and it looks pretty cool. You can incorporate that in your painting. I like to doodle on every canvas before I paint. It just gets an extra little umph to your painting. Plus, it's fun. Who wants to stay in the lines all the time, right? Just draw some little doodles all around the shield. And don't worry if you mess them up. We're having fun and they're going to be covered up anyway. Okay. You can even draw a smiley face. I'm going to draw a couple more smiley faces. And it's okay if the paints are mixing together. That's what makes it awesome. Put some paint on. Yeah, we got all this cool stuff going on our canvas. Remember, no doodle is wrong. We're just using the colors to give our canvas life. And once you have paint on a canvas, it's not as intimidating, meaning it's not as scary when there's already paint on it. Maybe this is going to say be awesome. You guys all should be awesome. Be awesome. Put another little smiley face up here. All right. So I think we're safe to start working on the shield. So we're going to rinse the paint out of the little brush and set that one to the side. You can get all the paint out by scraping the brush bristles, tongue twister, on the bottom of the cup. Set that on the side. Then we're going to grab our larger brush, and the outside ring of the shield is red. So we're going to get our brush loaded with some red paint. Remember, wetting the brush if needed, just to make the paint a little bit more easier to work with. And once we got a good amount of paint on there, we're going to come on in here and start painting our outside ring to the shield, just by going back and forth. Now you see where the black line was. We're going to paint right over that. You can still see a little bit of the black showing through, and that's fine. That's going to give us a shadow to make the shield look like it's not completely flat. Let's paint our ring around it. Red all the way around. I like to keep the paint pretty thin, that way it dries faster, but it's okay. And you see, I didn't wait for the black to dry, but it's fine, because if you see in the picture that we're doing, the red has black in it also. Nothing when you paint is a mistake. Always fixable, so don't panic. Don't get upset. Don't say you can't, because you can. We're going to have an awesome shield when we're done. Just with a little patience and no fear. Don't be afraid of this canvas. Just paint. Don't be afraid. I mess up all the time. Okay. The part of being human. All right. We got this red one done. There's another red ring. So let's go ahead and paint that red ring as well. So we're not going to paint this one. We're going to paint the one here. This is red as well. This one. Got this one coming in. Need to wet my brush just a little bit and pick up some more paint. When you start seeing those little white spots, that means you don't have enough paint on your brush to paint the area. So you want to reload. Some more paint. We're going to start tidying up that black line that's under there. See how you can't really see it, but you can see it? It's about layering the colors on top of each other to create an effect. It looks cool. Have you guys ever painted before? I'm sure you have. I'm sure you guys are pros at this. Here we go. Got that one. Okay, again, if these lines aren't perfect, we can go back in and paint the line again. We can always go back in and make the line whatever we want it to. Because it's our canvas. Great. So I'm gonna wait for that to dry. While we're waiting for that to dry, I'm gonna rinse off this red on our brush. Remember, by pushing the bristles on the bottom of the cup. And I'm gonna blot your brush a little bit. Let's make the blue that's inside the shield where the star lives. Take a little bit of the blue, load my brush up. I want to go right in here and give it the blue color. I'm going to follow the lines as best as I can. And don't worry if you get the blue on the black line or even in the red line. We'll fix it. We can always fix it. Just follow that little line there. I don't want to see no white. There's no white in the shield. If you see the brush strokes, you can try and go over them again. You get a nice flat color. We're just going around the line on the outside of the star. You can start to see the shield coming to life. If it's easier for you to work, you can turn your canvas to the area that you're painting, like I'm doing, so that maybe your hand doesn't get in the wet paint that already did. It's okay if it does, though. We can fix it. Great. I'll turn it again. And come back in. So we're going to do all these sections on the outside of the star blue, like in the middle on our picture. We're almost done. My brush. Come back in here with the blue. It's our last little section of blue. Okay, did we do okay? We all have our blue sections. See the star and the shield. So now what we can do while we're waiting for those little rings to dry, we can go ahead and do the background that we started with our doodle, which was so much fun. Let's go ahead and mix some colors, okay? It looks like in the painting, it's like a black background. You can make your background whatever color you want. I'm going to do a darker blue background. So to get that, I'm going to take some blue, scoot it over here next to the black. And then I'm going to take a little bit of black just to get him a little bit different color. Not a lot, just a little bit. We're going to mix it here on our palette, our paper plate palette. And hold it and get away from it. Mix it. You're going to start to see a different color. On the side, I'm going to use a little bit more blue. See, we got this dark blue by mixing the light blue with the black. Okay, I'm going to put this on my canvas. I'm going to start in the corners with this color. And see, that's kind of a navy blue. And I'm going to put it on really light. You can put it on light by adding a little bit of water to the brush. And then you see how light it can go on. I might want to see my stuff that I did in the background through this paint. You dip it in the water. Still has some of that blue on there. And the water makes the blue come off the brush, but not as thick as it would be if it was all paint on the brush. This is a kind of a little lighter than I'd like it to be over here. So I'm going to dip it back in my paint, get some paint on my brush. You see how that starts again? So we're having fun while we're waiting for the paint to dry and we're tackling the background. If you accidentally, or even if you want to paint the whole background blue, you can. I'm going to show you some options to make this painting yours. So if you wanted to do that, you could just grab all the paint, the blue paint, and put it there. And even when you are doing that, you can still see a little bit of that bottom layer popping through. That's what makes it fun. and interesting and cool. It makes it your own. And repeating the background blue. If you don't want it all the way blue, you can add water to the blue. Oh, and see, like some of that red was still wet, but that's okay. It's going to add cool effect to the background. See that red mixing in with the blue? Kind of cool, right? Get my brush in up here. I can still have blue. I can still do that if I want. Maybe I want this top portion to be red. You could do the background red if you want. You can mix it right in. See how you can still see your bottom doodle? You don't want to see the bottom doodle, then you want to add more paint. Do that just by loading our paint on our brush. And painting over it. I like that little stuff popping through. I think it's so fun. But this is only the first layer of our bottom background. So don't worry. Kind of cool. This red up here. I'm going to dip my paintbrush. That in the water. See how when you paint with a watered down version of the color, it's thin and you can see the stuff popping through. Don't want to see it, you can just put another layer of paint, see it disappearing. It'll take a couple layers. Right. I really like how the red and the blue are mixing, and that gives us purple. Red and blue make purple. So if you wanted to have some purple on here, you could certainly mix red and blue together and make purple. And it's even fun to do that if you wanted to do it on your canvas. Let's see, that red is still wet. I'm going to take a little blue and I can come in here and mix it right on my canvas. And if you can see, it's getting purple. Isn't that like cool? That's pretty cool. It's like magic. If you wanted it to be darker purple, you can add a little bit more blue to it. Here we go. We got purple. Purple in here. Purple is in the house for all of our girls that want to have purple on their shield background. You can mix the red and the blue, and you can even do it over here on the side and get the purple too. You can keep adding the colors in until you get the color that you want. See, that's a purple right there. I don't know if you can see it on the camera well, but red and blue will make purple. I'm going to bring the purple down here. It's kind of a cool color. Make it your own shield. And I see you have green and yellow. If you want to do your background in green and yellow, go for it. I encourage everybody to be as creative as you want. It's okay to be different. You don't have to do it exactly like the picture. Don't need to do that at all. Okay. So we have our background. Pretty cool. Got some red, blue, and some purple going on. If you did a black background, it's okay too. If you covered up all your doodles that you did, that's fine too. As long as you're having fun while you're painting. Okay, so now we're going to go in. We're going to clean off our brush really, 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 really good. And I mean really good, because we're going to start using the white paint. So to clean off the brush really, really, really good, you're going to scrape it on the bottom of the cup. Look at the bristles. Make sure they don't have any paint on them. Dab it on your napkin to make sure that all of the color from the other colors are gone. You can see that I have no color left on my brush. If you do see color, you want to put it back in the water, dab it out on the napkin. Make sure you don't see any color, because that's going to come into your white paint. And we haven't touched our white paint yet. Now we're going to. I'm going to take my white, and I'm just going to clean up the line for the shield that's white. And we're going to go right around following the line. It's okay if your hand isn't steady. You can touch it up. You can always fix it. So make that line look a little bit even. It's hard to see where you're painting with the white paint, but if you just follow the line all the way around, you'll see where you left off when you get back to it. I got a little bit of white in my black. I'm not crying about it. I'm gonna go over it again when we do our final touch-ups. This is just getting our paint on the canvas. Going all the way around. I see on my canvas that I still have some wet black paint, because it kind of big glob kind of landed on my canvas. I'm going to steer clear of that wet paint so it doesn't drag into my white. If you hit a part of your painting where the color dragged into the white, we'll wait for this white to dry and just go over it. It's not going to ruin the painting. Might even make it look cool. Okay. Oh, I almost did it. I almost got that black paint in there. We're doing our white ring. And my circles aren't perfect. You can see that. Don't worry. We can get them as perfect as you want them to be when you're happy with it. And I don't have to worry about it. It's not going to be, nobody's grading this. This is just to have fun. And I hope you are. Okay, so I think we're back to where we started on this little guy right here. So I see some of my circle isn't perfect, and that's okay. I like it that way. Imperfect things in art are awesome. I'm going to do the star white, just like we did that ring. I'm going to try and cover up any lines that I got in the middle when I was painting the outline of the star. You can put your brush to the side. It might make you help make a line easier. Or you could just do the tip of the brush on the canvas, just to get that line. If you want to switch to the littler brush on this area, you can. I think I might for the tips of the stars, because it just seems to make sense that way. I'll leave that brush in the water. I'm going to switch out to my little tiny brush for that little tiny area and the top of the stars. Make sure I have good amount of paint on. This is the time where if you don't like the shape of your star, you can make it different. Okay. So we have the white parts done. I'm going to rinse my brush of the white. I'm going to come back in and just coat that red up a little bit more we started with on the shield. Just so that you can see how layering the colors, even if it's the same color, can make the painting a little bit better. Just coming back in, we're going over this red that we have here on the shield. I get rid of those lines that you can see. Get a nice red. How this side looks more colored in than this side. It's because we needed another layer. And the top layer you can put on pretty heavy if you like. Gave you plenty of paint. Or if you want to do a thin layer, that's fine too. I want to get that nice red. You want to cover up some of that black line that you saw that we did earlier. Just another coat of red will do the trick. And you can still see some of the black popping through. Well, it's pretty cool because it gives it like a shadow effect. Just cleaning up our lines with the red. Second layer. If you paint over your black line, it's okay because we can go back and repaint the black line over the red. You can just keep doing that until you get it good. I'm going to do the same thing with this inner red ring, just to get that nice bright red color. You can see the black that we saw initially is fading under the second layer of paint. You can still see a little bit of it. That was the effect that we were looking for. Okay, so we have our red rings, our white ring. The blue looks a little drab to me. I'm going to take and rinse my red out of the brush all the way. Remember, by putting our bristles at the bottom of the cup. We're going to dab all of the water out on our napkin. We're going to come back in. We're going to get some of that dark blue we made. Mixing the blue and the black. Should still have some left. If not, you can mix some more. I'm going to take some of that dark blue and I'm just going to go on the outside of this little circle here. Just to say, just to give it a shape so it doesn't look as flat on our canvas. You can see that that's already starting to make it look a little bit more or less flat because we're showing a shadow or a curve, that this isn't flat. Do that right underneath the star a little bit. Not every one, maybe every other one. There we are. I think we are at the point now where we can look at our picture and say, what do we need to fix? Do some touch up, and then you'll have your masterpiece. So on my picture, I see the lines. There's a couple of lines of the black. I'm just going to touch up just a little bit outside, just to give it a little bit more. Right here, it's bothering me. And if you wanted to see the white there, you certainly could, but I'm just going to go in here with the black and outline a shield. That's going to make it stand out on our canvas as well. Nice thick black line. If you mess up this line, don't worry. You can always go back in, fix it.
So that is our time with you, boys and girls, and we appreciate you joining us today. And like Ms. Heather said, if you see anything that you want to fix, you can certainly go back and make some changes. There are plenty of paint colors to choose from. You can make any changes you like. So we hope you had a good time, and we hope that you're happy with your painting and that you have your very own masterpiece. Hopefully, we'll see you again soon. Have a good day. Enjoy.